In today's digital world, the coaching space has exploded, which is great. It's a great thing for everyone, for coaches, for trainers. However, it does come with an element of fear because coaches will think that they just blend into everyone else. How am I going to stand out amongst this sea of coaches that all pretty much do the same thing? And this is a common feeling, right? It's a common fear that I have felt myself. I've definitely been in that situation, and I speak to coaches every single week who bring these things up in conversation. And it's normal to feel like that, right? Because, like we said, growth in that area has gone up, it has increased. But ultimately, that increases an element of competition, yes. But is it saturated? It's not saturated in the way that you might think it is. Yes, there's more people doing it, there's more coaches out there, there's more opportunity. However, you can do some things to stand out. And this is what this video is going to be about. I'm going to go through 3 core areas that you can apply or look at to make yourself stand out, to rise above the sea of coaches who are all pretty much doing the same thing. Like I said, everyone offers the same thing. Everyone's doing the same style of coaching. And you might think to yourself, what else can I do that's going to be different? It doesn't have to be that crazy, which you'll find out. It doesn't have to be something that's revolutionary. You suddenly change the whole thing, you disrupt it. It doesn't need to be that. But you can do it, which is what I say, like I'll go through in this video. Ultimately, it's going to come down to 3 core areas that you're looking at. And the big one for me is the personal brand. That is you. That's what you are, what you do, who you are, how you connect, how you speak, your point of view, your emotions, your thoughts, your values, everything like that. That is you. You are the brand, right? And by being you and getting that across in whatever media outlet you use, whether that's social media or email, maybe it's YouTube, whatever it is, however you do that, you need to be able to get your own authentic self out there. And that means sharing your point of view on subjects. That means sharing your emotions. That means showing what you like, what you dislike, standing up for your niche, standing up and becoming an advocate for the things that you believe in. That's important because when you do that, you suddenly put yourself above everyone else who is doing the same stuff. Everyone's doing weekly check-ins. Everyone's got an app. Everyone's got training programs. Everyone's got recipe books, right? That's not what people come to you for. People come to you because they connect with you on this emotional level, because you've evoked something in them that they see or they want. And that's why you'll stand out. If you can learn to do that within your content, within the way you market, stop hiding behind Canva graphics, stop hiding behind infographics, get out there and share who you are and what you do. Because ultimately you're in the business, in the space of working with other humans. And how do we connect? We connect off the back of emotion, shared experiences, stories. Tell more stories. Ultimately, is going to be the biggest piece of advice I'm going to give you in this whole video. If you can tell more stories, you will connect with way more people. You'll have more conversations. And more conversations is going to mean that you're going to work with more clients. So ultimately, personal brand is the big one. It is not your logo. It's not your color scheme. It's not your font. It's nothing to do with that, right? It is you as a person and the things you stand for and the way you interact and your communication. It's the things that you find important in life, the values you've got, like I said before. That is you, your personal brand. How we get that across is really important. And if you're not comfortable doing that, then you need to practice and you will get better. I guarantee you'll get better at doing it. Now, on top of that, we need to become a specialist of sorts, right? I'm not saying all of a sudden you just work with men in their 30s who want to get jacked, right? Okay, or busy professionals. It's not about that. That's not what we talk about. When we talk about niche, people have probably heard of this thousands of times. You've probably been told you need to niche down. That isn't what I just described. That isn't this demographic, age, sex, job. It's not that. It is everything that we spoke about before in terms of who you are, the values that you've got, and what are the root causes, the root issues that you solve for your audience. What are the main causes that you solve? And that's what you need to start with. And then how you do that is what's going to go outside it. How you communicate that. Your point of view on things that relate to that. Who do you stand up? Who do you associate yourself with in the industry is going to make a part in that, right? All of these things are important. Like I said before, you solve the root cause of a main problem, and if that is, you get guys in their 30s to build muscle. Okay, cool. Now, what point of view do you have on that? What do you stand for? Do you stand for the natural way of doing it? Are you do you stand for a specific way of training around that? Do you stand for science around that? Okay, but it's how you communicate that to your audience. How do you do that? Who are the people you associate in that area to make that clear? Because that's what's going to be the key that sets you apart. Then how do you explain that to them? How do you tell stories around that? How do you get that point across? All of that is the personal brand, what you stand for. It goes far beyond the logos, the colour schemes, the fonts. It just goes far beyond it. So we're looking at personal brand into specialisation, into a niche of sorts. But like I say, your niche isn't just the things that what normally people do. And then how can you then take that and connect more with your audience? And that's where having something that is specific to your audience and solving their problems is going to make you stand out. Now, it's something we do in the mentoring. We will create a custom program roadmap for the coach that no one else will have. No one else will have this, right? Remember I said before, everyone does check-ins, everyone's got an app, everyone does this, right? So if you can create something for your audience specifically, because you know them really well, you know them inside out, you get their problems, you know their fears, you get their aspirations and their wants, so you create your service around that, and then you could put it into something that's tangible that they can see. And then with that, you can then show it to them and say, hey, I get you, I understand you. We connect on these shared things, these shared values, these feelings, these emotions. Plus, I've got this thing that's going to help you with the things that you're struggling with. That's how much I understand you. And if you can do that and show that to your audience, this huge buy-in, this massive trust, and ultimately that's what we want, right? People to put their trust in you to help them achieve something that they can't do themselves. So if you can do these three core things, you will set yourself apart and you'll get above the saturated marketplace that we think it is. You'll stand out a mile above anyone else. And then all it is how you communicate that message through your social media, through your emails, through offline marketing, whatever it is you choose to do, right? Just how we communicate that. But once we've got those three core bits, everything else becomes easy because you are different then. And a lot of times I speak to coaches and they're like, I don't know what I do differently. I don't know what else is unique about me. I don't know, I haven't got any of these things, these crazy ways of doing stuff, and you don't need it. Because what is unique is how you build your program around the audience you serve. The hard work is doing all of that part I just mentioned. It's getting really clear and deep into the audience and understanding their problems and their wants. Because if we can do that, we can create the service around it. And then that is something for people to buy into. So for me, that's the biggest part, getting that buy-in from a trusted audience. And then you can weave that through your content. You can weave it through all your marketing, through your messaging. And it's just a huge way to get people bought into it. As always, if you found this useful, please like it. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And please stay tuned because I will see you in the next video where I'm going to break down these 3 steps individually.